All right, what is up, guys? We got Anthony Ed Jameson. All right. Anthony's actually a new person here today for showing up for the coaching. Let's go, Anthony. So thank you for showing up. And guys, today we are going to be doing something that I actually put the last class, right? We had a class on Tuesday about website scraping, and I gave you guys the code, right? I showed you guys how to set it up and how to actually implement it. Well, I actually okay, well, me and my wife were hanging out and talking, and we were going to build a directory, right? I was like, she has a whole bunch of nurses and doctors that she helps. And we were like, all right, well, let's build a directory. And we were going to kind of build this side project. And I was going to help her with this. And as I was starting to find this, I was like, okay, well, she's like, well, what if our directory is going to be empty? Do we have anyone to start with? And I was like, well, there's other directories. And technically, we could scrape those directories and get the data, and then we could put those onto our site. And so, and here's the thing is, when you talk about search engine optimization or anything like that, is for a doctor, a lot of people search up the doctor's name and then they try to find the doctor, right? Just kind of like we were talking about obituaries last time. Well, the doctors, people are searching up those doctors for a service. Well, essentially, I started to look for directories online, right? And so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to share one that is conveniently put together really nice for us. All right. So if you guys want to practice scraping a website, this is not my website, functionalsource.com. If you own this, well, here's the cool thing is there's two parts of scraping, right? Scraping, some people think well, is scraping illegal? Right? Well, there's two parts that make scraping illegal. Is if you ever go to facebook.com and you are not signed in. Okay. So if I open an incognito window, right, and I go to facebook.com, right, and I go to facebook.com and you see how there's a login information right here. Okay. Unless Facebook has an API and they expose their customer data and they expose their information, if you log into this and you scrape data from Facebook and it's behind a login, that technically, because you are logging in, you are actually signing up, and you are basically whenever you log into a site, you agree by using their site to their terms of service because you signed up to their service. However, on public sites, right? If you go to a public site, this is a public site, and I could scroll down, I could click on this doctor, and it shows Anup, right? Anup Candia, right? MD. Well, it shows publicly all of his information, right? It shows his information here. It shows an email. It shows a phone number. It shows what he specializes in. It shows offers telemedicine. It shows a website. All of these specialties. This is a giant directory. If I click on browse, this is a giant directory of 2,173 doctors, functional medicine doctors on this site. Beautifully structured. All right, well, if I click on this, it has all of their information. Well, what could you do with that, right? There's a lot of cool things that you could do. One is same thing with a lot of times, basically you see how there's this information. Can we legally message this person? Well, here's the cool thing is there's something called B2B and there's something called B2C, which is business to customer. So if I'm out selling real estate and I'm knocking doors on house to house, and somehow I find an email, a list of homeowners' email addresses, and I message homeowners, I could literally get fined thousands of dollars per email because I'm sending out those emails to people that never subscribe to my site or they never opted in because it's a consumer. Now, here's the difference. Business to business, right? This is today we are literally flirting with legalities, right? Literally, if you go and you scrape facebook.com and you didn't log in or you logged into the site, right? If you scrape facebook.com and you actually scrape this site, well, if you are logged in and you're scraping the site, that could be illegal. They could press charges and sue you for violating their terms of service. That is part of their terms, right? If I go down to terms, you could see that they're scraping and you could find their actual terms. Well, same thing with public sites. If it's public, I mean, like, it's the same thing as just copying and pasting or clicking right here and calling them, right? So it's public available data. It's displaying on their website. The reason this person listed it on their website is because they want to get ranked, right? And so they actually want to get ranked for this and get people where they're actually seeing traffic. And so this data is available. Well, here's what's really cool, right? If we actually go into the class from yesterday or last week on Tuesday, well, if we have our AI snippet, check out what I was able to do inside. Basically, if we just have essentially our scraper. So we have our little scraper. Well, if I copy this URL and I just paste it right into it and I hit scrape, well, this actually pulls back all of our data, right? So this is for the replay of last week. We set up this scraping script. This is calling that scraping script, and it's pulling back all of the data from us, right? It pulls back the emails, it pulls back the phone numbers, it pulls back all the texts, and it pulls back the HTML content. Well, why is the HTML content important? All right, so here's what's really cool is this entire HTML content, right? I'm able to take this HTML content and have it where we could parse that information, right? So I could actually take this and I could get all of the information. And so essentially I created a second code inside here, and I was scraping the entire, like, all of the entire like website, all of it at once, and like bulk scraping. And so the next thing I'm going to be doing with this is setting up where I could actually email these guys. And so I'm coding up a little emailer that actually sends emails out. There is software that you could do. I basically found another software that I could cold email these guys with. I might just use this instead, or use that instead of this. However, I do want to drip it out over a few days. And so inside this, let me show you guys the data. Basically, I crawled every single page, and then I scraped the data, and I emailed those leads to my wife. Okay. Here is the entire data of what those entire look like. So this is 2,000, basically 2,000 something leads of doctors, functional medicine doctors from this one single site, that now I could actually take this data and I could actually retarget, right? I have all their emails right here. So one, I could cold email, which we are going to plan on doing. We're going to start sending out cold emails to every single one of them. My wife sells website templates and custom website builds. So we're going to send them a message. And then two, we're going to put them on a retargeting list. Okay, so this is a list on Facebook saying, hey, these are functional medicine doctors, and we want to show our ad just to these 2,000 people. All right, and so that is the second part, what we're going to do. All right, so she's going to reach out to them, and she's going to say basically a message to them and say, hey, like, I added you. I also scraped their social media sites. If you guys see in this last column, it says Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I actually grabbed all their social media sites. So not only did I scrape this site, I also told the AI to basically, hey, here's the CSV, update the CSV line by line with the website link, passed in the website link on these guys, and then updated my CSV so I actually have their social media profiles also. Because this site didn't have social media links. Like, there's no social media links on this site. So I made my own by passing in this website that they have, right, Dr. Deb. And if you scroll down, you'll see that they have Facebook and Twitter. Well, the website scraper grabs that data and then plugs it in for me. So, yeah. What up, Troy?
What up? Yeah, you know what? I should have asked this the other day, but seeing all that data in that spreadsheet made me think of it again, and I just got to ask. So, if it's a login members only type of site, it'll equally scrape everything in the back end of a membership roster type of thing as well?
No. So here's the thing is this site is conveniently structured really nice, right? I got lucky with this site. This was the first, like, I tried a site before this. They had all the doctors, but they didn't have any emails. They didn't have like some other things exposed. So I was like, and they only had like, it looked like literally their directory looked really big. However, they only had like 500 doctors. I'm like, get out of here. You know what I mean? So like, and so this one was like a gold mine. I was like, wow. And basically, I mean, I just started searching, you know, like Ed kind of talked about real estate directories. Well, same thing is real estate's really good. Well, you could find real estate, especially like real estate agents, right? Real estate agents, I'm sure you could find a ton of directories that have real estate agents that you could reach out to. And I mean, scrape those directories. And I mean, one of the other things is it's kind of cool. Anything that you guys are creating as a business, right? If you like yesterday, I just scraped this data. I could use it for my wife, but also how many people on my social media could use 2,000 doctors to reach out to, right? Like that alone is also a product. And here's the thing is like everyone could just go to functionalsource.com and then message these guys, right? Like that's public, every single person, right? Like, so they could all do that. However, the fact that you put it in a nice spreadsheet, people could choose when to reach out to them. They could put little check boxes by them, you know, like they could choose what to do, what they want with the data. You're just gathering the data, choose what you want to do with it. And then you could also sell the data, right?
Yeah, well, so I guess this all overlaps. I was thinking of one thing. Okay, you said, so basically I'm thinking of real estate. I know of a big one for real estate that you can log in as a paid member and then access a huge database. And I wasn't sure how the scraper would be able to pull a login type of thing. And also for my USC alumni, I have access to some database that would make it much easier if I could just scrape it rather than manually screenshot or extract it that way. So they're thinking of that. But then as you were just talking now, we've been talking about the APIs and things. And I think there are often like realtor.com and have certain open APIs. And in that case, you could probably build or scrape or connect so that all this information, because realtors have the tendency to change offices more frequently than probably other professions. So then your info could automatically be updated probably if you're able to connect to that key, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now check out this, right? So here's a really cool website called Data Affinity. Okay. Data Affinity. So there's certain websites that one you could scrape. Well, the API is basically the ability to provide data that somebody already has. It's already their database, right? So Data Affinity, Data Affinity. All right, so here's a portal that I already logged into. Okay, so here is a really cool site called Data Affinity, and basically they have, let's see if I can find their API, Data Affinity API, boom. Okay, so they have documents. Well, I've used this API for a client one time, and it's actually really cool. So we have API references. Well, here is a whole bunch of product data. Okay, so not like product data, but property data, business data. Like this is actually searches 35 million records, and it's an API. Now, here's the thing, and they also have property data. So if you are in real estate, Ed, and you need property data of like when houses are sold and you need it live and like you need all of those things, this is a fantastic website for that. And then you're calling the API and then you're returning that data. All right. So this, like the client I worked on for this, it was about 10 months because you see all these APIs like data, people, product, get a specific record, get all downloads, view, get property. Like these guys have a lot of data. So it was setting up all of those APIs one at a time inside there. However, now, I mean, like, let's just see like, I mean, let's just see, do they have like a free subscription or is everything paid? Essentially now you could just copy and paste these entire like curl commands and set them up now. All right. So now you don't necessarily like have to go through the process of setting them up how I was doing it, where I was connecting them in Bubble Now I would copy this API and paste it into my AI team and have that build an actual spreadsheet for me. Like totally different. So there are APIs that you could get live data that are just what you said, behind a record, right? They actually are behind a login or somewhere that you're not necessarily supposed to get the data. However, I mean, when you can scrape data, I mean, I felt really cool yesterday.
You're like Robin Hood.
Man, I was like, what? Like, all of this data is mine. That's like, this is cool. I felt like for once I have a edge in my business. Does that make sense?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This created it where I was like, dude, like, how many people struggle to get this data? And then now I could sell this data. I could literally sell that. I sent this lead list to my wife. I could sell this again. I could get more data and I could keep selling these lead lists. I mean, like, I know there's customers in these things, right? Especially if you do website design, social media, like ads, reach out to them for any of those, right? Like course development, like I'm going to ask her because I basically like, hey, these are her leads, you know, like I got them for her. And like, if she wants, if, you know, I think, but it's a cool product. This right here is a digital product that I was able to gather. And now I have 2,000 emails on a list that I could offer for functional medicine doctors, right? And that could be part of your upsell, downsell process. And then you could offer custom scraping because you have a scraping script, right? How many people need real estate data? If you do get real estate data and you need to actually real-time data, well, this software actually has real-time data, which I love. Like, I'm not plugging them. I'm not part of Datafinity. I just used these guys before, and I actually really like their stuff. They provided fantastic real estate data, homeowner data, like phone numbers and emails for homeowners, tons of realtor data, tons and tons of realtor data inside this. So if you sell anything to real estate agents, this has it. And also they have business data in here also. And it's kind of cool because you see how it says like query and it has like this crazy query. If you guys use the AI to do the queries, well, that's going to basically help a lot too, you know, because you're not making those requests, the AI is. So yeah. So yeah, pretty much scraping this data was probably the coolest thing I've did in my business in a very long time. And now I guess like, what's the possibilities, right? I was able to get all of the data from this site. Like, what are the possibilities? Like, now the next thing is setting up the two processes that I want to actually market to them. One, we want to send these guys out emails, maybe 10 to 25 a day, not overwhelming, not spammy, not sending them, and just, hey, like, just saw that, saw you online, checked out your website, added you on a social media platform, and wanted to let you know we offer a website in a day, right? We could rebuild your whole website in a day, or you could buy one of our website templates. Super simple, right? Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, not like spam. It's just a cold email to these functional medicine doctors, which we serve, and those are our clients. The next thing is we want to retarget anybody that went to the site, retarget them some of these leads. And so on social media is kind of our next part. So yeah. What about you guys? Have you guys added anything, done anything with a scraping script, or thought of anything that since then, like, all right, here's some data I wish I could grab, and here's what I would do with that data since you last class, or anything like that?
Training data for AI bots. So I really, I want to utilize it to be able to scrape and like access databases that way. I can basically stitch an assistant into it. So I've had a lot of ideas for creating bots, and like ideas don't exist in the vacuum. I'm one hippie kid in Colorado, so I can only do so much. But I had a really good idea for creating an application or database with an assistant for like Toyota or one of the major car dealerships, and make it to where like any technician for a car company, any technician for a tractor company, any technician for whatever can text an AI assistant, and it'll pull live data from their database and say, like, so they can ask a question, for instance, like for standard operating procedures, material safety data sheets, whatever the case may be. They're like, oh, these two chemicals mixed, what do I do? Or what's the torque spec of this bolt? Or, you know what I mean? I'm working on a 2UZFE engine in a Toyota 4Runner, what's the torque spec for this particular nut on this part, you know, and it'll answer any question like that in just a split second, and it pulls live data from their database. Just as an example, like there's the reason I love you so much, Jeff, is because I'm a sponge for information. Like I love you in general. You're just salt of the earth, bro. But I love how much I just love learning, bro. And I love learning from you and like being in this environment and like having conversations like this because it stimulates us all, man. And this is it's an open sea, dude. There's money floating everywhere. There's a lot of business and a lot of possibilities. And that's why I'm very open with everything that I do, just like that. You know, that could be a multi-million-dollar company creating an app for Toyota, and every single one of their technicians has the ability to find any spec, any SOP, any data about anything in just an instant. Even car salesmen. I mean, there's so many different ways to spin this and create value. And so I just thank you, man. You got my head reeling, but that's some good ideas. Like if somebody wants to take off with that, run with it, man. I got 1,000,001 other projects. I'm serious, dude. That can make you a billionaire for all I know.
That's awesome.
Buy me a steak or something, right?
Right.
for throwing the idea out.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right on, man. I appreciate you. There's a lot of different. I just want to say there's a lot of different potential. Like try not to look at things with a filter or any preconceived notions. Try to like think about any type of app that you could develop that would help somebody. And there's an API for it. And you could literally stitch the tool together utilizing my AI team and have it coded for you, stick it into a backend and have something that you can sell. So having database access just opens up that makes that changes everything, because that is the functionality in regards to artificial intelligence. So the more data it has, the better.
Nice. Now, do you have like a software that you've built recently with my AI team that you've been coding up?
So I created a NutriCoach app. So it takes, I don't know if you tried that, Jeff, but it's pretty crazy. So it takes your height, your weight, what you eat, the average meals that you consume on a daily basis, what your diet is. So if you're like vegan, paleo, whatever the case may be, asks about any allergies, any medical conditions, any supplements, dietary restrictions, etc. And you click calculate, and it gives you a breakdown of, and then you enter whether you want to lose weight, gain weight, or maintain your weight. And so when you click calculate, it gives you a comprehensive breakdown of the amount of macros as well as micros, macro and micronutrients, so proteins, calories, carbohydrates, and micronutrients, all your iron, molybdenum, all that stuff that you need to consume on a daily basis to either gain, lose, or maintain weight based upon your inputs. And then it also creates you a comprehensive meal plan and gives you meal ideas for breakfast, lunch, and dinner based upon your dietary restrictions, what you eat, your all your input, your height, your weight. And it's utilized. So I have it to where it utilizes an API endpoint. And so all of that information, as soon as they fill out the form, is sent out to the artificial intelligence, and the AI gives them a dynamic response. So one of the most simple and useful apps any of us could set up is as simple as creating a contact form and saying, this is all the information we want to collect. And then we send that out to the AI and have it reformat it. So as Jeff was saying, you scrape data with AI and you feed it to the AI and you provide a result. The flip side of that is you just ask the people, you give them a contact form and you get the data from them and you say, this is, you fill out this form or you go through this process. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a contact form. There's a lot of different ways to collect data. You can have an interactive way and make it to where there's pictures that they click on if you want to. I mean, the point that I'm alluding to is it's very valuable for a lot of people, and it's a really easy way to create micro SaaS. I mean, that's essentially what OpenAI is. They charge $20 a month, and their form is a box, right? And they're collecting the data from you, the input, and giving it to the AI and feeding you an output. That's all they do. Exactly what Jeff is teaching us to do is essentially all that OpenAI does. And that's essentially all I'm encouraging you guys to do to start is set up a simple form. Like think of an idea of whether it's for nutrition, finance, real estate. So there's so many different options that you could do this for. And it's really simple. The other app that I set up was Steward AI, and I had actually trained an assistant on the back end of OpenAI. And then I haven't actually gotten it to link to the real assistant, but I managed to figure out for the time being how to feed in that training data because it's using my OpenAI key. I mentioned this in the last class. If you use the data file and the name of the data file, it will use all that information from that data file and accurately. So it's basically like I'm really good at finding loopholes. If I can't make something work one way, and like I'm in a time crunch, I'm like, okay, I'll make it work this way for the time being, and then once I can tie it into a back end, I'll hide the API key and all that. But I'm not a coder. I'm just learning all this stuff, and I feel like this is opening a lot of doors for anybody and everybody, man. I mean, the people that aren't in these coaching calls are really missing out, man. So
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, let's see. Do you have? Can we see any of them?
yeah. Let me post a link in the chat. So Apex CRM is my business. I'm actually like messing with my website and stuff while I'm on this course with you guys because I just have so much going on. So I just dropped this in the chat. So if you right now it's just set up with an API key. So you just use an OpenAI API key. Here, I can drop one of those in the chat too. Give me just a second.
I got one.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, and so
AI.
Steward AI, you can ask it any questions about agriculture. So indigenous microorganisms, saving seeds, purifying water, collecting rainwater, like anything and everything in regards to agriculture and sustainability. And then NutriCoach AI is the nutrition coach and meal planner. And so the NutriCoach AI, like I've really only been able to spend like a solid few hours on that. So my intention for that is to make it as badass as I possibly can. And I'm going to sell it for $5 a month. I'm going to give people a free trial for it and do a micro SaaS application, and it'll get better and better and better. And eventually people will have their own user logins and they'll be able to save meal plans and then save and track their progress. So as they're using it, they can save and track their progress and see the progress that they're making as they're altering their diet and following the meal plans. I could create workout integrations. I'm considering making it to where it links to like Fitbits and smartphones and like biometric tracking. There's so many different ways I could spin this, and the price will never change. It will always be $5 a month, no matter what. And so, thinking about doing like some lifetime packages, like lifetime deals for $500 or something, and basically making it to where I want to turn it into an iOS and Android app as well, eventually. But basically, giving people access to the knowledge to be able to maintain their health and the knowledge to be able to procure food and live a sustainable lifestyle, as our food comes from the ground, not the grocery store. So
beautiful. All right, let's try Steward AI free.
Yeah, play with it, man.
Let's go. Okay, we got a little save. Ask any questions about agriculture and sustainability. What can I grow in Las Vegas?
Question.
All right. Look at this. Beautiful, man. All right. In Las Vegas, which has a hot desert climate, consider growing drought-tolerant plants such as succulents, cacti. All right. These are actually what I have in my backyard. What's up? Okay. This is cool. Look at this.
Maybe ask it about some drought-tolerant plants for drought-tolerant edible plants, I should say.
All right.
So this has about like not that much training data. I mean, it's got some data about natural farming, seed saving, some permaculture. But that's another aspect of the Steward AI is I really want to make this one incredibly dynamic because it's something that I want to push globally and make it to where anybody in the world has access. And so the Steward AI is going to be completely free. Anybody in the world, anywhere can access it 24/7 via the internet, a phone number, email, whatever the case may be. And so that's part of the reason why I started utilizing the high levels, because I wanted to stitch my Steward AI into which I'm now able to do, and I need to figure out, because I figured out how to parse longer messages into shorter messages, and that was a problem with me setting it up initially. But I want to make it to where people can message Steward on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, a phone number, anything. It can be accessed globally 24/7 by anybody in the world for the procurement of sustainability.
Nice.
And setting a precedent that there are very practical, logical ways to utilize AI and incorporate it into humanity.
Yeah, this is really cool. I dig it. All right, let's try NutriCoach. All right, man. I dig your style. I like that they're just very similar and like it's super easy to use. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so these are just embedded into a high level funnel. So I literally just embedded them into a high level funnel and then attached them to my website. So,
all right, what's 5'8" in inches? Oh man.
Yeah, I need to change that. I need to do height in inches. My dad, I said to my dad, he's like, "Why do you have it in inches? That's such bullshit." Blah, 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 blah. I said, "It's so complicated." Dude, he's such a Luddite. He gets so frustrated with software, and that was the funniest thing in the world to me.
You said your dad, you send it to him?
Yeah.
Dude, so cool. I sent stuff to my mom. So
68 inches.
68. All right, cool. Good. Activity level. I like to say moderate, like none. Dietary goals. Let's see.
So like, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to gain weight? Do you want to maintain weight? Do you want to try to like get more fit? You can literally, what's cool is you can just talk to it in natural language.
Yeah, 200 would be cool.
So I haven't updated. I have it updated already. I can actually drop that update right now while I'm on with you guys. All I have to do is paste it. But I have it updated now where it's just each one is a drop down selection just to make it easier for people.
I do like where I could like specific diet and I can just say I have a family of 5. So you know what I mean? Like, because I needed to be able to understand my real life and
it's
don't capture my real life.
That's a really good point. Yeah, so maybe some of them I shouldn't make drop downs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely dig this dietary supplement. And, you know, how often do I eat out? We order in by Uber Eats more than we order out, but I'm just gonna say like 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Food preferences, tasty. Cooking skill, beginner. All right, meal prep time available like 30 minutes a day. Stress level absolutely low, please. Average sleep an hour. Let's go 8. All right, let's see. All right, I'm hoping it's loading. All right, yeah, woohoo!
I'm so pumped you're trying this out.
All right, cool. Okay, avocado toast. Let me get that toast. I'm screenshotting this. Send it to my wife. Make some toast.
So if you go up, what's cool, because it utilizes AI, so if you mess with it a little bit, go up and change and like put like specific diet, be like vegan, or I have celiac disease, or I'm dairy intolerant, or whatever.
Yeah, let's just lots of meat. Right? Like kind of like a you know, like a carnivore diet.
Yeah.
Okay. Be eggs, lots of protein. I think it's kind of what it factors in.
Oh yeah, it switched already.
All right, this is pretty cool. Yeah, this is awesome. It'd be cool if I could have a little button to get my shopping list and you know, and maybe like
Yeah, make it tie into
some fun.
yeah. It didn't really give, oh, I guess it was breakfast. I was looking at the breakfast. I was like, it didn't really give much more meat, but
Yeah,
oh, there we go. I think it,
grilled chicken breasts. Yeah.
oh, you click, does it, so every time you click calculate it
Yeah, it gives me a whole new
Yeah.
meal. Yeah, so
Awesome.
which is actually really cool because this is something that I would be like, okay, cool. Like, let me get a couple different recipes, you know, and decide which ones I want, you know, and avocado with toast with poached egg. I would dig that, you know.
Yeah, so
It'd be-
I just launched this and there's like a lot of little nuances that need work. So it's kind of in beta mode, if you will. I'm definitely not to the point of launching it and like trying to charge people for it. But my intention is to basically I'm gonna pull the leave it up like as the API test key for the time being, basically send it out to people. You guys can anybody in here feel free to test it, play with it, see what you think. If you have any questions in regards to how to set something like this up, feel free to shoot me a message. But once I get it really buttoned up, I'm going to make it much more dynamic, and I'm definitely going to tie it into the back end of Bubble and make it to where each function is really on point. The recommendations in regards to macros and micros, and potentially tie it into some other databases. Talking about databases, maybe like a recipe database, or you know, I mean, I also want to make it to where there's a selection to where you can select what kind of meal you're feeling. So for instance, like say you're wanting Hispanic food or Italian food or Mediterranean food or Indian food, there'll be a drop down selection and you can select what type of meal you're wanting, and it'll give you meal plans that are according to and like tailored to those types of recipes.
That's
And
awesome.
that's something I can add just with literally just by prompting it and changing the data that I'm sending to like put it in layman's terms and explain it simply. All I have to do that is add another column in regards to the data that's being sent to the AI that says, what are you feeling today? What kind of food are you feeling today? And it's got a drop down of selections. And then when that's sent to the AI, you literally just prompt into my AI team, I would like to add the ability to be able to select what type of food somebody is in the mood for and create a drop down menu and then send that to the AI as well. And boom. And then now the AI will create a dynamic meal response based upon their height, their weight, their allergies, meal preferences, etc. And then it'll also incorporate the fact that they said they wanted Mediterranean food. So all the meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner are Mediterranean, just as an example. And it's that easy to change the data that you're sending back. You're just by asking one other question to the user and sending it out, it makes it that much different, just as an example.
Very cool, man. Way to see this deployed. I love that you actually have this out and you can get feedback from users. Like, that's fantastic.
It's exciting for sure.
Yeah. Are you now? I see it says full high level CRM included. Have you thought about like connecting like the form, like a form where it's like, hey, here's your key, but name and
Yeah. So that's actually, I need to take that button off I didn't realize that I still had that button on that funnel. That's actually for my main business. So I build and train custom AI assistants for businesses, organizations. I'm working in the process of trying to I'm in the process of contracting, I should say, with the Small Business Development Center, and trying to incorporate Apex CRM assistance at the state level, which could be very significant. And then I've been teaching artificial intelligence courses for them. I actually have some recordings of those. I can send those out to you guys if you want to watch them. Send them to you free of charge, man. I have basically just been trying to build AI assistants for various organizations, and I use High Level as my user interface to do that, and I build them through OpenAI. So I build and train custom OpenAI assistants and feed them specific data in regards to SOPs, data sheets, have them tied into databases, whatever the case may be, and then I use High Level to stitch them in. That way, leads and employees both are able to contact an AI assistant. And so I set up there have two tiers. The first tier is frequently asked question bots and booking bots, so they conversationally book appointments. And then the second tier is managerial bots. So managerial bots are for employees and they answer managerial questions, SOPs, MSDS, whatever the case may be. And so that's kind of what led me to Steward actually is what led me to really diving into this. And then I realized, I was like, hey, well, if I'm doing this for a Steward bot for philanthropic endeavors, why wouldn't I do this as a business? It provides a lot of practical value, and I've learned all the skills necessary. So that's kind of where I'm at today, and it's opened up a lot of doors for me. So that is actually when I sell bots, I give anybody that I sell a bot to, I give them access to every aspect of High Level. So memberships, websites, funnels, users, everything. And that's basically included because that's the software that I utilize.
Very cool. So you're kind of using this AI bot training process to sell your other software.
Yep. Yeah,
Nice.
basically. Yeah.
Nice.
And basically as like they both play off of each other. So it is like doing instruction with the SBDC and like various, basically it's all, I'm doing all kinds of various things, but they all coincide and work together and support each other. I would love to get to the point, if I could figure out how to basically tie it into a back end and then me and Isaac had discussed this briefly, talking about just trying to figure out how to use High Level or ClickFunnels, like whatever you use, whether you use High Level, ClickFunnels, whatever it is, utilizing that, because a lot of people already have domains and they already have things set up in there. So if we could set up software that's linked to those domains that are already, so I use Cloudflare and High Level, then if I could figure out how to do full stack and tie that in and tie a database and a back end into a High Level site without altering my site how it is, you know what I mean? Basically just tying it in. That's my end goal ultimately, is I would love to be able to use the same tech stack that I am. Like inevitably I'm going to have to pick up other tools like cPanel or whatever the case may be. But that's my end goal, is to kind of try to figure out how I can do exactly what you're doing, but figure out basically all the fundamental principles that make it work, and therefore be able to understand how I can stitch it into any software, any site, Squarespace, WordPress, whatever the case may be. So.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, that's really interesting. I've actually seen a lot more people lately trying to use Go High Level as a full development platform. And the main reason is because they have the ability to add those
custom code.
Like custom code and custom fields.
Yeah.
You know, and so the custom fields, just like we talked about data, right? So
being able to send webhooks, post and get webhooks. So that's another really powerful thing with High Level. And that's another reason why I like it, is because like I understand all that now, having used it for over a year. So the fact that you can just send out, so how I was mentioning forms, that entire form, that's essentially what's happening, is it's sending the data out. And what's cool is, because it's using custom code, I didn't even have to set up a webhook or anything. It did it all for me. But that's exactly what Jeff's referring to, is it enables you, I'll let you explain it. It enables you to pass all those data parameters in the form as custom fields and send that out in a webhook to anywhere, Zapier, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And definitely, I mean, like Go High Level has these get contacts. So you could literally get your contacts. Does it get all of the contacts? I mean, like,
yeah, I think you can send, I'm pretty sure you could literally send like your entire contact list if you want to. I mean, you can export and import data. You can it's crazy what you can do with High Level. And that's, they're gaining a very significant following because of that, because there's so many different variables and so many different ways you can take it. So.
Very interesting. Yeah. I wonder with like these custom fields, if we're able, I mean, like you could essentially have a contact and then essentially you could have custom field, like user plan, and then you could update that custom field and then show information based off of that. You know what I mean? Like, but I wonder how you would do like login and authentication. I mean, it's just working through each one, you know, and figuring it out.
Yeah.
There's always a way to
for the time being, I'm probably inherently I'm just going to end up using Bubble and creating a login and doing the no code aspect and like basically stitching it into a backend there. But I can still I'm pretty sure I could still just use Bubble, some backend, and then a backend server, and then still be able to tie it into just the website, just the URL. Really, that's all I really want to do is make it to where, to your point, they already have logins, they already have memberships areas, maybe tying it into the memberships area. I had actually thought about that this morning because there's already logins.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to make it to where people can log into a memberships area, whether it's high level or whatever, an existing memberships area, and then they give access to their custom code and tools and things of that nature within that memberships area, or access to their software. But the tricky part there is, to your point, getting the data to sync between high level and or whatever software and your backend, and you would have to do that somehow. I'm not sure how, with webhooks or custom fields, custom values. I'm just not exactly sure how you would even go about that.
Yeah. Basically, we would just need to be able to embed something in here. And I know that Go High Level allows you to embed like custom code right here. What I would do is basically, if let's just say I wanted to have this email sender in this thing, I would say, I use this chat a lot. So what I would do, I would say, can you give me an iframe code for GHL? Right. And I'll just go into the chat and then I will try to iframe this thing into it. And then see if we could basically, now you could host it on Aspire, or I mean, host it inside basically my AI team, and then you could iframe it. So here's our little iframe code. And let's see if this works.
I'm super curious if it's going to.
Server not found, Launchpad. I wonder if they block them. Let's check. Yeah, they might block them. Let's see. Let's try to diagnose.
So you're basically trying to iframe an endpoint in like in a tool, basically trying to iframe one of the.
Oh, actually, that's the wrong site.
Like what are you trying to put in the iframe is what I'm asking.
Yeah, basically, like, let's just say I created a software. So let me edit this code because the URL was wrong. But basically, like, let's just say I created a software inside my AI team. You could actually, my AI team, only you are the editor, okay? So if I hit view, right? So now if I hit refresh on this, well, I just embedded. That's wrong. Hurry up and refresh. Where's the save? Let's see, hit save. All right. Now if I hit refresh, I'll have my whole little software right here. Right?
Bro.
Only I could see the edit. Okay, because I'm logged in. Yeah. But if I logged into an incognito window with this, right? So incognito, and then this was the site. I'm like a course user, right? And I could like use my software right here. It doesn't work but I could embed it right in here. You know what I mean? Like now my whole software is here. So you can build it into it. And this is a membership area, right? So this is a premium little membership area, which I mean, so we might use this where I actually been building the code vault. Maybe I just do that with this. That's kind of where I add some of my code vault stuff inside here, because I have some software that is absolutely fantastic that I just don't want anybody else to use. And I don't want to put it on its own site and anything like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like last night I was using this bulk site scraper.
So you're basically like essentially going to use basically utilize GHL as your storage vault.
As my storage vault.
Yeah. See, basically what I'm thinking is like, there's so many different ways. That's one of my biggest strong suits is figuring out the fundamentals of how things work and then being able to put those together and create leverage, right? And so I'm trying to figure out how to leverage some no-code software, my AI team, my AI team subscription, and High Level, which I'm already utilizing, and basically stitch them and create an amalgamation and make it to where I'm kind of leveraging and getting the best of both worlds. Because High Level, technically, they provide hosting, right? And they have a server. They have you can't run code. I don't know if you have the ability to run code, because like you have a custom code snippet, but what all kind of code? You can obviously put Python in it, right? I mean, it's not limited to the type of code you can put in. So
okay, so here's what I'm doing. I'm iframing, because if you look and go High Level inside this membership area, if you look at the custom code editor, this is actually, it only allows you to add, like, it doesn't allow you to add code. It only allows you to add stylized text.
okay.
It's kind of you see how it's like these little P's right here? It's
Yeah.
really just stylized text. However, I figured out it allows you to do iframes. Okay. Well, an iframe is basically a window into another website. That's all it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So we just iframed this entire little software right into this membership area. So all I'm doing is creating a window into another software. I could iframe, watch this, right? Look at this. If I go to myAIteam.com, I could switch out this entire software. So now if I refresh this, well, look, I just added my AI team to this course. The whole software. Like not just the snippets, but the whole freaking software, right? And then it appears right here in a second. Wait, why does it not save? Save. All right.
So now, dude, you're answering so many questions. This is crazy. Okay, so
like this is all of my AI team in this. Like I could build images right in here, right? Like this is a full-on software right inside here, right? Like let's just say,
yeah, so you could essentially use this. You could use this membership. You think you could use High Levels membership, iframe it, and just make it to where your database yeah, so you'd still have to use the backend database, and that's so sick, dude. That's crazy that you can literally just stitch it in. Yeah, so as far as monetization, you could easily set up a monthly payment through High Level and make it to where people pay a monthly to be able to log in and use the software. But as far as doing like saving people's pictures or creating a database or anything like that, you would have to do that through the back end of Bubble.
yeah, I mean, or you get creative, right? So you could, it seems like we could reference the contact from here. Does that make sense? So like if hypothetically, knowing that Go High Level has an API, well, you might get contact. You might reference their contact from here, and you might reference their account information.
I got a question for you. Does it let you in that iframe? Like, so go back to that picture that you generated. Will it let you download it through that iframe?
I mean, I could right click save. You mean my little
yeah.
Let's see where.
Yeah, like how when you're on the website, you can download it.
Yeah, let me.
I'm curious if.
Let me add more space to this. Let's go.
It's crazy how like you inherently learn to code doing the like you just start to click and you're like, oh, okay, this goes here, and
I know how to fix this, and
yeah, you just dive into it and edit something and it works. Like
so
AI will teach you how to code.
Right, so we have our, as soon as it loads. All right, AI snippets, and then I go to AI images, and then basically this little download button, right?
Bro, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Download. Yeah.
Yes, that is so sick.
Like I was making a little
Okay.
game with all these little tigers. Yeah.
Interesting.
Needed game assets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But so basically, like my point is like if you didn't have a login though, and you didn't already have a login, then they wouldn't know that you had an account and you wouldn't know, you know what I mean? So you would have to do it. I'm trying to think of how you could do it where because they have like sticky forms, sticky contacts where it like remembers the contact, remembers the IP, whatever the case may be. Maybe
Yeah.
you could incorporate that. But so for instance, like if you scroll down, like how you have your database of images that you've created, how could you basically like stitch a software like this in without using a backend for the storage of images or for the storage of voice clips that they created? Or do you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying, what I'm asking?
Yeah, totally. So we could go to like OpenAI, right? And we could go to their API references. And let's just for simple sake, let's just make some images, okay? So we'll go to create images and we'll copy this, okay? We're literally just copy the API documentation. Whenever you see API documentation, just copy it, okay? We're going to copy it, and I'm going to go to my AI team, and I'm going to hit create snippet. All right, I'm going to say, make me a software that I can make images from this API endpoint. All right, and then I'm going to say, also make it so I can add my API key and password protect it. Okay. I just don't want you guys to see it. Protect it. So no one sees it. All right. And I'm going to paste my API documentation. Okay. And then now it's going to literally go and grab, it's going to take that documentation. It's writing my code. Okay. Just for us. And now you wanted to make it where it saves, but without a database. Well, here's what's really cool is on your computer, you could save what's called locally. Okay, so whenever you know like what's called cookies, right? Whenever you go to a website and you see have to accept the cookies, basically that what that means is, hey, I've been to this website and at any type it tracks data. So if you ever go back to that website, it will save your user information. It will have that and it will fill it in automatically for you.
So I can potentially use the cookies tracking from HL from high level to be able to track what's done.
Yeah, so watch. Yeah, exactly, right? Just a API input. All right, hopefully this will work. I might have to feed it in the data. What's the password? I don't even know what the password is. Created a password, but incorrect password. Let's see if I can look in the code and find the password. All right. All right, there you go. All right, cool. So now we have this. It still didn't block it out, but whatever. All right, so input your input. I'm going to say a dog. And then it says Dolly 3 or 2, generate image. All right, hide API key as a password. All right, and so no one sees it. All right, and now we have this generating. Now we have our picture of a dog. Okay,
it's a fine looking dog.
All right, we have a dog. So we have this. The API key works. All right, let's try this again. All right, so you see how I have to re-enter my API key in? Right, if I refresh this page, watch what happens. Right, like how annoying. I have to enter it in again just to get an image of a dog. Right, like I don't want to do that. Right, so what I could do is I could say save the API key locally for the user. Okay. And now what it's going to do is it's going to save my API key locally whenever I hit generate or whenever I hit anything. I have a little cute little dog. All right. All right. Adorable. All right. So it's updating. And now if I have this, watch what happens. If I hit refresh, I could, you see how I just automatically added it?
Yeah.
It saved it locally.
So I could tell it to save it locally in the back end where it's not visible. and people would still be able to inspect it and see it. But I can make it to where people can use my like one of my API keys, or just create like a burner. I was just going to create a burner OpenAI account and put like $10 worth of credits on it, $20 worth of credits on it, and then create an API key and then use that and basically duplicate the training of the bot that I had, which is, I don't even know if it's possible if I can like swap it from one AI account to the other. But I basically wanted to try to create an API key. As far as the steward bot, I don't know if I can, but I could create an API key, just a general burner API key. That way people can't use my personal ones. But so would I be able to prompt it and hide it locally in the background like that too?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So inside the view code, you could add it into the code, right? So I could tell the AI, like, add this API key, and then I'll hit paste, and then it will add it to the behind the scenes, right? And now it's going to add the API key in the behind, and it's going to use my API key. And then only the time that someone's ever going to see it is if they click inspect, and then they go into my API key and see it.
Yeah.
So you could have it like that. However, super not secure, right? I highly wouldn't recommend that. What you could do though is, you remember how we had the server and we set up a cPanel server?
Yeah.
Well, in that cPanel server, basically what you could do is you could have it have it set up a script, right? So you could say, can you write me a PHP script that I can call as an API with my API key? Okay. And then this will write a PHP script, and you just deploy it the same way we did on the last one, right? You add a subdomain and you put it into the folder. Okay. And then you could have it there. You could also have it, remember how, like, let's just say we want like an image of a dog, right? And we say like an image. Well, we could also say, make it so I have a gallery for the user, and save the past images also in the gallery. Okay.
So basically, you would set up a PHP script and it would pass it to cPanel, and then you would create a new API endpoint and then feed that in, and then your API key is secure because it's going through cPanel and then being fed back with a separate API key, and that's basically the locked door.
Yep.
Cool.
Nailed it. And now you're not exposing your API key to the world. You're calling your own API, you're requesting it, and then you're passing in your own information. 100%.
So I could literally just create a cPanel account without ever using Bubble or anything like that, have it write me PHP script, pass it in, and then create an API endpoint, pass it back into the API, into my AI team, have it use that, and then it's using my API key in the back end.
Absolutely correct.
Yep. Bro, that is so okay. Now, like, dude, I've got this down. I'm gonna set this up like immediately, dude.
So if I go into my vision script, I have one. It's
crazy.
Yep, it's a
That is so sick, dude.
I do this exact thing with this Anthropic scanner, right? Because Anthropic OpenAI allows you to call it from front end. However, Anthropic doesn't allow you to call it from the front end. So I literally created a script, right? Like, I pass it in, and if you see right here, it calls group.myaiteam.com/ant, ant2.php. That's exactly what we're talking about. This is a script that it's called ant2.php, and I put it on the back end, and now this calls it.
So basically, you tell the AI to create whatever tool you want using whatever API calls you want, and then you say, turn this into a PHP script, pass it into cPanel, secure it, put your API key in there, and then create another API endpoint, pass that back into my AI team and say, use this endpoint, and from there, you're good to go.
Nailed it. 100%.
That is crazy, dude.
100%.
So what about as far as like domains? It's just whatever domain you attach it to and wherever you paste that script and iframe it, right? And
Yep.
then you
This
can
is just
charge
something-
people to be able to view those pages. And bro, you literally just answered like my entire question of like being able to just implement this anywhere and be able to sell it on any site, anything like this is wild, dude. That is so wild. Interesting. So then so basically that API key just it passes data just like it would like I am now, except rather than it passing to the original endpoint, it's going to cPanel to that endpoint and then going to, just like trying to reverse the order in my head, then it's going to OpenAI or Anthropic or whatever, calling that API and then returning back to cPanel and returning back to the user.
Nailed it.
Sick, dude. That is so cool.
And that's the proper way to handle server front end and back end clients.
So you can literally just deploy it. I could literally build apps and deploy them anywhere.
100%.
That
Now
is
watch
amazing.
this. Inside cPanel, there's something called PHP MyAdmin.
You are blowing my mind.
PHP MyAdmin is the ability to create databases just on cPanel. And you connect it through PHP like this.
Yeah.
So it's just one step further. So if you do want a database without going to have to use like another server, Bubble, or anything like that.
So I can put all my data from OpenAI and all the training data and things of that nature and just use the prompt and okay, sick, dude. That really helps me because then I don't have to pay for all that Dora State data storage and all that. I can just upload whatever I want on my own back end.
100%.
Legend, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you're such a badass, Jeff. You're such a badass. This is like the most, dude. You should definitely repackage this course and sell it because anybody that watches this and it clicks, like, dude, you just opened up so many doors. Everybody that's watching this class right now, if you use Squarespace, WordPress, any high level, any website builder, watch this course a couple times until it resonates. And the last course and this course, and you can set up any software you want, a paid software. You can create any software you want and set it up through your existing website. You set up another funnel page, make it to where in order for them to view that funnel page, the condition is that they have paid for your subscription or whatever the case may be, whatever the conditional logic is in the software that you're utilizing. And boom, you have a paid software set up. Dude, you're blowing my mind right now, dude. I mean, you always blow my mind, but like in particular, this is the most priceless. Like, I'm at a loss for words, dude. I truly am. Like,
That's awesome, man.
so
Yeah.
sick, dude.
This iframe idea is
I don't know
really
what
cool.
to say.
I dig the way that this is like Go High Level has this,
Bro, it
So-
makes it so simple because like we're leveraging like all. Why pay for hosting? Why pay for like if we can do the software development? That's kind of what I was alluding to when I was speaking to you like a month or so ago, and I was like, how can we do this through High Level and through a cheap hosting, something where it's like you get everything you could ever need to sell it, whatever, even if you do it for they're $97 a month, you know what I mean? It's $97 a month and you have every tool, everything you could ever want, payments, integrations, you can set up ACH transfers with your bank, like everything you need to maintain and operate and sell it is right there. And then you use my AI team and a cPanel setup and a backend server, you know what I mean? But those three softwares, and you could create your own Uber app. You could create, you know what I mean? Like the only other aspect is stitching it into iOS and Android. And there's I'm sure there's probably some pretty simple ways to go about doing that too. There's always a loophole, a backdoor. That's what I love about computers is there's 1,000,001 different ways to do something and achieve the end result.
Indeed. So, all right, man, I'm excited. I'm glad it clicked for you. That's awesome. Heck yeah, man. Like, that's awesome.
That is so sick. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate you explaining all that and like walking through that. And I feel like everybody, I know it was like kind of tailored to me. I apologize for taking it like rambling on and sending you down a rabbit hole, man. But I feel like that could be so priceless for everybody in this group. Anybody that watches this replay too, dude. Like this, the information you just laid on us today is absolutely priceless, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. It definitely helps me add a lot of these codes that I create into this little code like vault that I've been building. And so I think
the code vault, like kind of like the API, how I was talking about doing to you about doing like an API database. It's basically just like a code database of different tools.
Yeah, because so like last night, I literally created a couple tools that help website scraping.
Well, you want to create a memberships area for all your tools, right? Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, like, where else can I give those tools to you guys for free or really easy, and like you guys can use them? You know what I mean? Well, like that probably is going to be the best area for me to build it out in. So I even appreciate you showing like making
that's exactly what I intend on doing. So that's partially why I'm asking, is because I want to make it to where people in my community and people that I correspond with and do business with have access to everything. So like obviously the Steward is free and open to the public. The NutriCoach is open and free for the time being. Then I'm going to make it to where it's $5 a month. Once I like really dive into it, I'm going to make it to where it's $5 a month. I'm only going to start charging for it once I get it on iOS and Android. So it'll be free for quite some time. But the point that I'm trying to make is that's the entire reason that I wanted to do that, is because I want to be able to give a lot of value to my community and my clients and people that I correspond with and work with. And I work with painters and government organizations, you know what I mean? So if I can scrape data, help find them leads, help them close deals, help them effectively communicate their value proposition, you know what I mean? I'm basically, as a business consultant, that is my job. You know what I mean? Whether they need more leads, they need to be able to pre-qualify their leads, they need to manage their leads, they need software, they need professional representation and or professional portrayal, you know, a website, logo, whatever the case may be. That's literally all I do is business consultation. And so like I'm trying to be the best business consultant I can, you know what I mean, and give people all the tools and resources necessary that they would need to grow their business. And like having software and being able to develop my own software is just like, dude, it takes it to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? If somebody, if I'm offering business consultation to somebody and somebody could be paying thousands of dollars for a really good scraper and crawler, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, working with me, you have access to this in perpetuity. And so that makes it to where like the amount of value that you can provide in any business, it doesn't matter. Like, by the way, you're a firefighter, Anthony. I really respect your service. My father-in-law was an engineer on the fire department. It's a hard job, dude. People don't realize. Anybody, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I'm not sure like what I know what Jeff does. I know what Anthony does. I'm not sure what you do, Troy or Ed or Isaac, but the point that I'm alluding to, it doesn't matter what industry we're in. Ultimately, at the end of the day, running a business, you're trying to provide value. And so the more value you can provide and the more time, energy, and money you can save people, the better, right? And so this enables all of us to be able to do that to a level in which we never imagined before, because I don't have any coding experience, but I can code all these different tools and all the software that Jeff, I'm sure, has paid crazy amounts of money for over the years to be able to utilize.
Hey, Daddy.
All
kids too, you know.
Yeah,
dude, I got kids.
All the software that people pay to utilize over the years, we can now create, dude. We can literally make it ourselves and be able to be like, here you go. You need a website scraper. We could even make an AI coder, you know what I mean? And make it to where people that we work with have access to that. We could create custom tools. I actually, Anthony, have considered creating maybe if you're down, me and you could work on this project. My father-in-law is retired and has been for quite some time, so it'd be much better to work with somebody that's active duty. But I've been considering creating a database and creating an AI assistant for fire departments and making it to where 24/7 you guys have an AI assistant that will respond instantly. It's trained on all the proper SOPs. It's trained on all your training material. IFSA training manuals, etc. All that data, it has access to all of it in real time. It's constantly updated every time there's a new training. There's, I know you guys do trainings constantly. Basically making it to where it's dynamic, it's constantly updated, and it's accessible to every fire department in the entire nation, potentially globally. So that could be a really, really huge project. And, but there's a lot of red tape. There's a lot of different things to try to work through there. With that being said, you do that with a tribe. You know what I mean? You find the right people and you work together on it, man. So, if you my website, I'll just drop.
Nice. Glad you guys are getting connected.
If any of you guys want to hit me up for any reason, my name's the same on Facebook, Jameson Stevens. You'll find me on Jeff's friends list. I'm always commenting on his stuff, so feel free to shoot me a message. I love all you guys, man. I love this group. I feel like people like us that are taking initiative and really trying to dive in and learn about artificial intelligence and the implications of it and practical applications, being able to implement it into our own lives. It's people like us that are setting the narrative and truly taking the initiative for how we want the world to go. And so I feel like we can all do a lot of good with this technology and provide a lot of value, and to not just ourselves and our own family. I mean, first and foremost, we have to take care of ourselves. If we can't help ourselves, we can't help anybody else. With that being said, I feel like we could all provide a lot of practical value to the world and to our clients, and make a lot of difference and affect a lot of change. So, I mean, you have no idea how much you've impacted my life. So.
That's what's up, man. I appreciate it, man. Heck yeah. Well, all right, guys. I love you. Well, great class today, and I'll throw this on a recording and get it
Please
up.
Please send me the recording of this. Yeah. Are you just gonna do each of them on your channel, on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, and then I'll be uploading them into the Learn membership group area soon. Cool. Yeah. And now that I know how to iframe stuff into this, so.
Yeah, dude, it's so crazy. I'm so pumped for that. Thank you again, dude. I really, I can't emphasize enough how much I appreciate you explaining all that, dude. It's a game. That's a total game changer, dude.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what it evolves into. So, all right, guys. Talk soon. Later.